Hello and welcome to week 11 of Chillax. I'm joined by my host Uber. Uber, how have you been?
Fuck block, but other than that, fine.
Nice, nice. So yeah, we're gonna take a look around the league like we always do. Should we start? Let's start with that open ladder. Now, there's been like varied levels of interest in this, and I noticed over the past couple of days that Magic has been playing a lot of games, and all of a sudden he's been asking me to start publishing the table, and I'm like, fuck you, Magic.
Wonder why that would be. Yeah, why would
Fuck
that be?
Magic, I'm not publishing the table just because now you're on the top of it. Good boy, you're very good. You're very, very good, Magic. We all wish we were you.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
so
he's
good.
the best.
He's
so
so good. So good. Apart from the fact...
He's what I aspire to be.
He's not the top of the... Oh, fuck, he is. Shit!
Yeah.
I thought I passed him. Oh, that's embarrassing. Do we retake? No, I think we keep going.
No, that's just the equivalent, my dear.
I was fucking so sure. I was so
you were
sure.
Fucking so happy with yourself then. You had him greased up. He was bent over the end of the bed, and as you've gone to drop your trousers, you've blown your load too early.
Yeah, wouldn't be for the first time. Right, so
fuck this shit.
Right, should we just have a look? What is Magic playing? So he's playing Orcs. Oh, actually, no, he's playing something that's not tier 1. He's playing Undead. So.
Oh yeah, sorry. You're the playing Norse.
Yeah, mate, I've got a good Norse team going. I thought I need to get used to Frenzy and I need to get used to AV7 because I've got my Khorne.
Oh, for your Khorne, yeah.
Yeah, but to be honest, it's going pretty well. I have had good runs on Norse before, but I don't know what it is. Whenever I go into a league format, I just turn into a massive fanny.
Yeah, I mean, they're a fun team to run. Although, again, I will revisit the sponsor for this week's show. Fuck block. But my experience with them is whether being in a league with them and playing against them or playing with them is whether it's a game or a turn where AV7 just fucks you in the ass. That's where their brittleness. That's the only real thing. Imagine if they had proper armor and stuff like that. Jesus, what a team that'd be! It'd be like fast-moving dwarves.
If they had AV8, not 7, if they had AV8 on their linemen, Magic would pick nothing but Norse.
Yeah,
like there would not even be a consideration of any other race. If everything
no, because
was
he's such a good coach, and not at all because he wants to play broken teams. Because he is naturally talented.
Yeah, I don't think he'd ever play
all the and understands all the intricacies of the game. That's why he would pick him for no other reason.
Yeah, like if he played 40k, there's no way he would take like a fucking one of those death ball comps that heals on a 2-up, and if they fail that 2-up, don't worry, they've got like 4 more following it. He wouldn't do anything like that.
Sorry, as an Adeptus Custodes player, I think you're on very thin ice there, my man.
Well, I think if you play Custodes, you're a fucking tryhard. How about that?
Whoa, back up, sister.
Whoa.
That sort of shit's going to get you fucking dick punched, my friend.
Alright, yeah, and it'll only be a fucking 2-up with a reroll to hit as well, so you'll probably land it. Difficult things. Things, 2s are hard to roll. So anyway, we've got Magic at the top. Should we just look at the top, maybe 4 or 5 teams? Let's look at the top 2 teams. Shall we? Yeah, because otherwise we'll be here for a fucking week. But yeah, we've got me and Magic both proving that we have no social life because we've got the most games spammed in here. Big Floor's been playing a few with Ogres, which is interesting. Another... Oh yeah, I decided to try Orcs, and it's the easiest fucking thing ever. I played this while on a conference call, and I won 2-0. Against a good coach. Like nice. they're just brain dead. Like you don't need to be a good coach to win with Orcs.
They are very resilient.
Yes, resilient is the word I would use. So the strategy was literally with the Orcs, it was just base everything. And crazily enough that worked out. Oh, he's pushing down the left flank. What do I do? base everything. Okay, cool. He's backing up, back base. Yeah. What do I do here? You just base up. Can I find his orc team? Where is it? Here it is. So it is basically 1,200 of orcs, and he's gone for the stand. Ooh, not quite standard. He's not got a thrower. I'd always take a throw. Oh no, he does. I'm hovering it. Yeah, he's got a thrower. Yeah, normal orc build. I think there's only one that people ever take. So yeah, really imaginative team building there. Although I did the same. Chaos. Now here is a team, you know, the skills on this are really out of the box. I've really gone to the well and used my sort of 25 years of Blood Bowl experience to help develop these guys. So as you can see, I've basically just taken Mighty Blow and Claw.
You're a fucking idiot.
And the problem is I can't get games on these now because no one wants to have their teams killed. And the only person that's been brave enough is Deaton. And I just keep deleting his teams over and over again. Because while that's not a lot of killer skills, I wouldn't... If you ran into that in a league, you'd be a bit like, oh, but it's not like the be-all and end-all. It's been firing off a lot. Like, this dude especially has been absolutely ruining people. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go on to the proper stuff, because I'm sure a lot of people don't care about the open ladder. Let's look at the league, then. So, let me get the scores up. Although I don't really want to. So going into the week, you've got a solid 5-point lead.
Yeah, man.
And I imagine it's going to get a lot wider. So first game, you've got mine, so the Corn Bay Brawlers versus the Tin Town Rats. 2-2. Now, I got more from this game than I had ever imagined. It was... Yeah, I believe he kicked to me. Yes. Yeah, he kicked to me. Nearly turned me over. But I managed to sort of recover the ball and then just slowly grind up, and then I scored turn 8. So it was actually, despite the fact that I had no skills, because remember I went into this with only Claw on the Mino and like 8 players. So I went in a pretty bad shape. Scored on my drive, was really happy with that, wasn't expecting it, and once I'd broken the initial line, the score actually came pretty easy. There were a couple of plays he had, but he fell, he snaked quite a lot actually. I think that might have helped with this. Then he had the incredible 1-turn touchdown on turn 8 that you can't defend. No. And it wasn't one that he had to chain push because he rolled the kickoff event quick snap, so he just moved his player 1 square in and just walked in.
Yeah,
so
that's all you need. Yeah,
great. So 8 turns of really tactical gameplay, and then he literally just has to 2-up. I was like, yeah, this seems really balanced. Fuck's sake, fucking Skaven. Then I kick to him. He scores fairly quickly. It was quite a nice touchdown, so he's 2-1 up, and I'm like, this is not going well. He boots it back to me, and on the LOS, I just ruined his team. I think I got like 2 or 3 removals in a turn, and then all of a sudden I'm like, shit, this is on. He was left with the last 3 turns. All he could do was try break tackle blitzing into a cage, and it got closer than I would like to admit that it did. So he nearly won this 2-1, which I think would have given you a load of points.
No, I had you down for 3. I had him down for 3-1. In fairness.
So I was well clear. But there was one point it could have been right. There was one point it could have been 3-1. And then I get over the line 2-2. So yeah, didn't expect to score 2 with this Chaos team, especially with no skills. But happy with that.
No, it's definitely a solid result. And as I say, we both picked the Rats to win comfortably. So. I think we sort of said, the only vulnerability for the Rats was on LOS. The fact if you could take some players out, then he would be up against it.
Yeah, I've got an MNG on a Warrior, but it wasn't a perm, so I didn't bother. Saving it. Yeah. But overall, pretty happy with that. I think I got a 5 on my winnings as well, so I think I got another 60k. Could be wrong.
That's handy. And And some SPP, I'm guessing, if you took some players out. Did you get any
lots of KOs.
any injuries?
I think a few. No. I think a few. Actually, shit, I got loads of levels. I might have got 2 or 3 level ups this game, probably 2.
Nice.
But the team's different now. We'll see when we go back round. But
okay,
it was I think it was an important game in the team building. I'm counting that as a win. But Gridbug played really well. He just got to the point where he'd lost so many rats to like failed dodges and stuff like that he just didn't have the players to compete for the ball. And I think he did the right thing in keeping his players down or just moving them out of the way.
Yeah.
I've played in leagues before, right? When I was playing Skaven, and this is years ago now. And I had literally someone like cussing me out after the game because I went for the ball, couldn't get it. And this was like turn 3, and then I left my players on the floor. And I was like, I'm not going to get the ball back, so I'm going to stay down. If you want to foul them, but there's a risk you go off as well. And literally, in the post-game chat, just verbally abusing me. I was like, mate, I've got to play 6 more games with this team. So do you want me to just stand up and give you SPP? Fuck off. Anyway, if you're watching, Ben, fuck you. Anyway, next up we've got 8 Point Giants versus the Stonehorn Striders. I'll be honest, I'm not shocked by this result. Having played the Halflings, this isn't just like a normal person that's picked up Halflings and just like waddling along with them. This Clockwork is very, very good at stunty teams. So I expect him. He's actually not lost since he's come into the league, and this is like 5 weeks now. That should tell you something, because he's come into an established league. There is tackle out there. There's a lot of mighty blow and block out there, and he's doing well, and he's winning games. I think for Ogres, Halflings are a horrible matchup, because you're having to roll POWs, and I imagine that he didn't roll a lot of them. So we went 2-0 there. What were the predictions?
I thought it'd be 2-2.
Yeah.
But you had the Flings for the win. So at 1-0, so you get a point.
Shit, I did not realise that. So 16. Nice. Okay, next up we have High Times in P-Town versus the Rotting Deadskins. Do you have any information on this, being that you and Lee are BFFs?
I know that in our little Twitter, I nearly said Tinder group. It's not like that. Sure. In our little Grinder group, he did pass comment during the game of, I just can't catch the fucking elves. I hate the elves. They're too fast. I can't catch them. So I'm assuming he was comprehensively outmaneuvered, which was always going to be the risk.
Yeah,
and I think we may have said it last week that if the elves get in and behind him, because he's running actual undead, he's not running tryhard necro, you haven't necessarily got the pace to be able to catch them, or even if they're able to kind of side cage down one of the sidelines, it's really, really difficult to catch them. And that was I will reflect on my experience of playing a faster moving team with slow dead people. So
if only he had Edge for himself.
Well, yes, but that's one player against a whole shit ton of fast moving elves. So yeah, I think from what I've not spoken specifically about it, but I think it was the maneuverability of the elves that did for him.
Fair play. What were our predictions? I guess the important thing.
We both had Lee to win this by 2 scores. I had him down for 3-1. You had him down for 2-0. So that's a good result for the elves. And again, they're another team. And when we look at the team that have been through hard times and are now, they're back to being in a decent place, I think.
Yeah, and again, this is Jazz's first season on him, so he's doing really bloody well. Okay, next up, probably the shock of the season, if I'm honest. And I don't say that lightly. This is probably the shock of the season. Magic, who is the best coach that's ever played Blood Bowl.
He is the best. He's like the Bobby Fischer of the Blood Bowl world.
I heard that GW actually go to him when they want to redesign teams, just because he has such an in-depth knowledge of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, all of the tiers, not just the good. All of the teams, not just the good ones.
Yeah,
but all of the teams.
To Magic, every team is tier 1.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's like Obi-Wan Kenobi of Blood Bowl. He's got it all.
Yeah.
But we both watched this game in its entirety, I think, haven't we?
I watched the first half, and I've heard the second half is where it gets really spicy.
It does. In fairness, I don't think either player made a single mistake. Floor played really, really well, but I don't know what he had given his Noblars before, or how he had snuck some extra armor down inside their vests and pants, because they just did not fail an armor roll. Magic could not break armor, and he took it in very good humor. Although by about turn 13, you could see the level of frustration behind his platitudes and joking about it, and I absolutely understand that. I had a similar thing when I played the Flings myself. That it's the expectation going into that game would be with Magic's team, with any Necro team, in fairness, with any sort of tier 1, tier 2, possibly even down to tier 3 team, is you run the risk from the ogres that you're going to get some damage from the ogres. But if you can take out the Noblars, then that's half the battle. And it's a similar thing with Flings. Perhaps not quite so much with Gobos, because they've got a little bit more more depth to them. And he threw block after block after block against those Noblars, and just could not remove them at all. It was a really good game to watch. In fairness, it was not once did I. There was a couple of times where either of them made moves that I was like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. But then sort of two activations further down, I'm like, oh. So actually, it was quite interesting to watch from my own perspective of seeing how both of them, playing as good coaches, were making their turn activation and seeing the bigger picture was quite interesting to see, because that's not necessarily a skill set that I've got. I'm a little bit too impulsive and reactive, and certainly my sequencing of which players I activate in what order to look at the bigger picture is nowhere near as good as either of them. So,
my sequencing is always which player is the most violent. I'll use them first and then go from there.
Yeah, I'm kind of like revenge focused. I'm like, what? How dare he knock my player down? I must make him pay. Fuck that guy. Oh shit! Double skull. Fucking hell! Nobody else has stood up. Everybody's down. Really good game to watch. Definitely a surprise result. We both had Magic for a strong win. So really well played for Floor on that one.
Yeah, well done. Yeah. Not a lot of damage for the Necro, unfortunately. Their streak of just passing all their regens continues. It will, like say, he'll have one of those games where he'll probably lose 2 wolves, and the team will be dead. But so far, he's hung on pretty nicely there. Next up, we've got Sirius United versus the Hogwarts. I think there was we'll look into the teams a little bit later, but I think there was quite a bit of damage done to those elves, which again, if you run into Necros, always the risk, isn't it? 2-1. What were our predictions?
We both had Sirius to win this one. So you had him down for 1-0, so you get a point. I had it down for 2-1, so I get 2.
Balls. Okay. Cool. We'll move on. Skanks and Saurasses versus Yet to be Defined. 2-1 there, so to the Saurass.
The Lizard off. I guess it could have gone either way. I think just on the strength of teams, we both had opted that Crespo's team was just in a much better place than Mr. Ben's. You had it down for a 2-0 win for Crespo, so you get a point.
Nice.
I had it down for a 2-1 win to Crespo, so I get 2 points. Fuck you!
You bastard. Right, yeah, I had a feeling you were going to start pulling away again this week. Hang on. Shit, I've lost my screen.
Competent buffoon.
Shit. I had it back and then it's gone. Okay, yeah, I watched that game. It was pretty close, to be honest. Like 250k difference. And I think Mr. Ben took Silly Billy. Or Sill Bill, or whatever he's called.
Yeah.
Which I actually liked. I think it's probably better over the Wizard, because it gives you something. I think the game was really determined on the line of scrimmage. And again, we've said this every week. He needs to fire that Strength 3, because that's what was given. Even though, actually, he had more strong players, or big players, because he had the star as well, he could... Crespo could always get himself in and favourable blocks, and there was quite a few removals early. I think Ben lost to Saurus quite early as well, so the advantage of the star went pretty quick. And then, like, I don't like that star player, because I know it's strength 4 block, but he always ends up based away from the action, and he can't do fuck all about it unless he Kaz's someone, and he doesn't have Mighty Blow. And I've seen him played maybe 3 times in the past week, and the same scenario every single time. He just gets stuck on his own and he can't do anything.
Yeah, he's not the best of star players. With Lizards, I've always, when I've had that kind of inducement money, I've always picked Hemlock over Silly Billy. Just I think it's a better player and brings more to the team than just another. I mean, Silly Billy is just a Saurus blocker. That's pretty much all he is. He doesn't bring any other aspect to the game, whereas Stabby Hemlock...
yeah, I think Hemlock would have been really good in this one as well, because there's loads of AV7.
Yeah. Yeah, he can delete players. He's pretty resilient, and he's a skink, so he's fast as fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so, final game. Do you want to talk me through it?
My recollections are muddled because I played 2 games immediately adjacent to each other because I played my Death on the Pitch game as well. I received in the first half and through either cunning blocks. Fuck block. I hate block. The amount of both downs and stuff like that, I burned through so many rerolls because of shit dice. But Deaton played really well. I received, fucked it up. I mean, he was able to sort of pick up the ball and run it in probably turn 6, I think. But I was very lucky on the kickoff and managed to secure the ball and do what was a relatively speedy run.
Oh, nice.
Up the park, so that was quite handy. I managed to equalise in turn 8. I made him burn in the first half. I got him to burn his Apo. I managed to get his Yeti on the ground and jumped on it and flipped up an injury. So he Apo'd and the Yeti went on the subs bench, which was good for him, but a little bit disappointing for me. And the second half. It was close. It certainly wasn't a runaway win for him. I mean, it was a solid win, but I had opportunities. I think the ball changed hands a couple of times during that half, and I did have opportunities where I thought that I might be able to either squeeze the 2-1 win, or once he'd scored, I thought I might be able to drag it back to a draw. So it was closer than I expected. I kind of expected to get rolled over. Well, case in point, I thought it would do me 2-0. But I kind of thought I might get rolled over, but didn't do a massive amount on his AV7, couldn't really break his AV7 effectively. And just the amount of block, not so much when I was throwing blocks on him, but certainly when he was throwing blocks on me, the both downs really, really hurt me. So, yeah, I mean, I was chuffed with it. I thought I didn't make too many silly mistakes. It was closer than I'd hoped. So it was a loss, but I don't feel too shitty about it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, the feeling. So you said you predicted 2-0 for him. What did I predict?
You predicted 1-0 to him, so we both pick up a point for that.
How do you pick up a point for that?
Because I had him down for winning.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. Yeah. Sorry. I'm done.
Sorry, do you need me to write it down with a crayon or something, dickhead?
Yeah, I'm assuming you are anyway. Okay,
I've got an actual grown-up pen.
So that brings us 19 to 25. Is that right?
25 to 19. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So you've grown your lead again by a point. Fuck.
That's because of all the brains, my friend.
That score. Right, so let's confirm the round.
Yep.
Yes, let's confirm that. Boom. Okay, so first match of the week. So we've got the Brawlers versus the Hogwarts. So let's take a look at my team again. We're up to 1940. Now this is 1940 with a Chaos out, so I'm actually above 1,000 TV in my own players now. But yeah, so I've got the Claw Mino still. I've got 60k in the bank. So I'm halfway to that third reroll, which is great.
Yeah.
4 Warriors now, a couple of Beastmen. The problem is I've got no SPP on any of these players, which is really bad because I'm picking up SPP on the loners all the time.
Dead players, or right, yeah, I was to say loners or dead players.
Yeah, I got a skill up on this dude and decided to take Sure Hands because, again, there's strip ball in the league, and also the fact that it saves me a reroll on the pickup, and that's usually where I'm quite nervous because I'm having to use those 2 on blocks, really. So
yeah, I feel your pain on the old pickup shit.
This guy went from 2 SPP to 12 SPP this game.
Nice.
Yeah, so a touchdown, a Kaz, and an MVP. So I took Mighty Blow on him because that's what Chaos do. Yeah. He needs 2 Kaz in the next game, and then I can put block on him. I will do block on him before Claw because I've already got a Claw Mighty, and I need this skills now. If I get anything on these guys, it's block straight away because had I got a level up on them a couple of games ago, I would have taken Mighty Blow because I was like, right, there's enough games between now and next season that you can probably high roll with it. And I need to start building these into block guard just so I've got that control on the line.
I'll have 2...
Yeah,
it's surprising that there's not a single SVP amongst them.
Yeah. So some of the games have been pretty horrid, to be honest. I like to say when I've had halflings, which you can't get Kaz against because you can't knock them over. I got 1 Kaz in that game. I've had Necro that were like 200 TV higher than me in my first game, and I had half my team ripped to pieces. So I've just not had my run into the season is not a nice to the end of the season is not a nice one. And if you factor in the fact that I've got a reroll team as well, it was never going to go great. Next up, we've got the Hogwarts. So I'm 1940, but I've got another 120k to go on there, which would take me to 1060. So I'm technically the bigger team, or maybe not. Actually, looking at this. Ouch.
Blimey, Charlie.
So he's out a blitzer, which will be pretty big. So he's got 2 blitzers. Both of them have got Mighty Blow, actually, which is a bit annoying, because that guy got Pro. That's interesting. So Blodge, Mighty Blow, Block, Mighty Blow, Pro, and then he's got an Edge 5, Wrestle, Witch. I don't know if how much he's going to put her in danger, though, to be honest. Especially if I've got
Wrestle. Yeah, I mean, Wrestle will help a lot anyway, doesn't it?
It's Edge 5, I'm going to foul the shit out of it if it wrestles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll foul the shit out of it if it wrestles. Then we've got, the rest of the team's it's kind of in the same state as mine, really. It's got an extra reroll.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, but so what you're talking, only 7, so you got 4 journeymen.
Oh, so there's gonna be quite and they're, 70k apiece?
Yeah.
So that's 1...
That's 280, so
I've got 217 inducements.
Yeah.
So I don't think I can take Black Hoof or Borat.
No, it's 2. Black Hoof's what, 240?
Oh, I could then.
Or is that? I know he's 240 in the new scores. He might be more in BB2.
Yeah, I think he's over 3. I might just take 2 Apothos on top of what I've already got and just play to keep my team going. I might do that.
Yeah.
Or I might take a wizard and just turn.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I'd be inclined to take a babe in the wizard, and just zap her and jump up and down on her until she's turned into jam.
I think I could get away with taking a Wizard and a Wandering Apothos. So I've got 2 Apothos for the game, which might be nice because he's got quite a lot of Mighty Blow there.
Yeah, because the last thing you want to do now is lose a warrior.
Or the Minotaur or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you predict first.
2-1 to you, I think.
Really? I'm going to go the other way because he's got Edge 5. I'm going to say 2-1 to him, but I'm going to try and win for sure. Oh, actually, before we move on, we've not looked at the leaderboard, which I always forget.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So let's have a look. So, Show Me Magic's in at the top, 8-1-1. So we've technically the only undefeated team we have left is Clockwork. Who's obviously inherited those 4 losses from whatever that dude's name was. Deaton right behind now, 7-1-2. So you could actually see Deaton take the lead of this, which would be quite interesting.
Eventually. I'm just having... Oh, yeah, because it's a tough game for Magic this week as well.
Crespo, 5-4-1, great record, really good-looking team.
Yeah, I'm starting to regret not thinking that he would make the top 6. The only reason I didn't pick him is because he's such a douche.
Yeah, massive dickhead. Right, Big Floors Ogres, I think these guys are in. I don't think they can... Yeah, I think it's highly unlikely that they don't make playoffs now, which is, for Magic, very scary. Very scary. We'll see how many Ogres he's got at this point, but yeah, that could be very scary. Jazz in at playoffs again, 5-1-4. Great record there. Looking pretty good. Sirius, I said he'd get there. There. He's creeping up. Yeah. I think he was 13th or 12th when I made that prediction, and he's now 6th. So doing
you're
well.
You're looking like you're going to make a lot of points up on the top 6 predictions.
Yeah. Gridbug sliding out the top 6 for the first time in 11 weeks. Pretty rough run for him there. He's got time to recover, but I think in reality he probably needed to beat me. That's a game he probably should have won. But I was just too good. Crazy. 4-1-5 again, still in contention here. If he picks up another couple of wins, I think he's going to get to 5 wins definitely because he's got me this week. Mr. Ben still could actually qualify.
Yeah,
crazy good turnaround, and like he's stuck with that team, and they're now paying him back.
Yeah, considered how gutted they were, sort of a quarter of the way into the season. It's that's a big turnaround. That's turnaround of the season, I would have thought.
Yeah, definitely. Lee 244 joint with me. Both of us could technically qualify, but again, it's very unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, the size of... We're not talking about me. The size of Lee's team and the skill set he's got, and he's not, he's a good coach. It just hasn't quite come together for him. There's no way that team and Lee, with the ability to play, that he should be down at 11. He should be somewhere around kind of 6 or 7.
Do you think the team size is what's hurting him?
I think it probably is not helping now because he's giving away a lot of inducements to... I think it's the highest cost team in the league now. So he is predominantly giving away some inducements to most teams. The dice haven't been great to him on a couple of occasions, but it might be that they're a little bit unwieldy now when it comes to going against a team that's just over 1,000 or 1,100 or 1,200. He's always playing uphill, but I'm surprised to see him that low down. I figured it'd be a solid mid-table position at this point.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He's also a penis, so I'm not entirely sad about it.
You're in at 13, 2-6. Mate, I'm so disappointed because I was like, he's not taking flings, he's taking it seriously. Let's go. Let's see.
I've enjoyed the Tomb Kings. I think they are or have the potential to be a really fun team to play. I have found them very frustrating, if I'm honest. Both the inability to pick the ball up despite the fact you've got sure hands, and because I don't, because as I sort of talked about earlier, because I don't necessarily have that whole turn vision of where I'm going to place pieces, quite often then I end up having to chase back down the pitch to try and defend from behind a cage or a sideline cage, and I just don't have the pace or the power to do that. So they're not for me. I'm definitely spinning for Chorse at the end of the season. So
yeah, don't blame me. Don't blame me. Then at the bottom we've got Battlehawk 118 on his ogres. I think he has said he's respinning as well, so thank fuck, because I hate playing into ogres. They're really hard to play against, so yeah, very relieved at that. Although to be fair, if my chaos get absolutely destroyed, I might be tempted to run ogres for a season. It might be fun, but yeah, no. So that's the leaderboard. We've got top two. Looks like it's going to be pretty much these two guys, but the top six is still open.
Yeah, top two are pretty much nailed on now, I think. But there is still, I would suggest, there's some scope for players to come back from it.
Lovely. Cool. Right, so we'll go back to the fixtures. Obviously, we've covered off the first one. So now we've got Yet to Be Defined versus the Onion Flaps. So let's have a look at Yet to Be Defined. How are they coming along? Well, 2 AV6 Skinks, minus Movement Saurus, he's okay. And the minus Strength Saurus, he's 10k off being able to replace this guy, so I don't expect to see him there next week unless like an actual proper one
disaster happens.
Dies. Again, I think he's going to have a really good team for next season. I spoke to him when we played, and he said, yeah, he's pretty much just prepping for next season.
Yeah,
right thing to do. Yeah, and then he was against Onion Flaps, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh man, this might not be the game that Mr. Ben wants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ogres now. So he is up to 6 properly without any loner ones. Still just on 2 rerolls. But does he have? No, he doesn't have leader. But he's got guard, break tackle, piling on, another guard, and juggernaut as well. So he's got all the sort of positional ogres that he's going to need. I think this is going to be pretty fucking tough, and I'm going to say 2-1 to the ogres.
It's a tough game. It is a tough game, but Mr. Ben's on a bit of a roll. Watching Floor play, he's solid. 1-1.
Okay, yeah, I don't think that's crazy. Okay, next up we have Feeling Your Mummy versus High Times. So let's go to
I'm gonna get given what I've just. I mean, again, it's a solid team.
It's a great team. If you look at the skills and stuff. I mean, the only thing I'd say is obviously you've not leveled all 4 team guardians, which is which always hurts. You've got no guard on the team, so I think that would have helped. Maybe going Might Blow on one of them and guard on the other maybe would have helped. But you really need block on those guys because otherwise they are just sitting ducks.
Yeah.
You've got a nice ball sack.
Yeah. My ball sack is quite nice, and he leveled up this turn, so sticking tackle on him when he's already got strip ball just seemed a reasonable way to go. It is a bit all eggs in one basket with him, but I've got block on my other throw ra, so I have almost got that. It's only AV7, but he is that kind of de facto third blitzer that I've got. I just don't. It's the pace seems to be the big issue for me. I just keep getting outpaced and going up against elves this turn, this round. I know I'm up against it, and I need to position better.
Yeah. So having played the elves with a zombie heavy undead team, which is even slower than this, it is winnable. However, you need to be willing to foul because that's the only reason I won. If you don't foul, you're not going to win. He'll just run circles around you. There
was plenty of fucking fouling going on against the Norse. I just couldn't. Yeah, it was not enough. I needed to foul earlier.
Yeah, if I was in your shoes, I would be tempted to drop, because you're giving up a ton of inducements anyway, I think. I would be tempted to drop 100k on a bribe and just literally every time an elf hits the floor, just gang foul it.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the woodies. 880. Oh my god, there's 6 players.
Okay, I hadn't looked. I feel slightly better, if I'm honest.
They've still got this guy, though. Block, dodge, leap, strip ball, tackle. So he'll...
Wonder who I'm going to be looking to foul.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to kill him. I have tried. It wasn't successful. It's taken frenzy on this dude.
That's...
Big balls.
That's an interest. I was to say, that's a big dick energy.
Yeah. I like that. This might be the first war dancer that I actually don't hate. Good job, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. There's some crowd surfing in mind, I'm assuming, going that way.
So there's going to be 5 linos. So let's do some quick maths. So that's an extra 350 KTV plus 880 is... So he's 1-2-30. What was your team?
1-2-30. I don't think I'm that different.
You're 1-2-40. So he only gets 10k in inducements. So you could induce a bribe and still not give him a wizard, which is the only thing he really needs. Let's see where he is cash-wise. He's got 40k. Oh no, okay, so if you induce a bribe, that does give him a wizard if he uses his bank.
Yeah. Yeah, but would you want to be used... Well, I don't suppose you've got a lot of choice, really, have you? Because it's not like he's out players that are just mixed nest game either, is he? So
I think you need a bribe, because if you're not getting the POWs, or if you're not getting many hits on those dancers, you need to maximise the damage. Yeah. I guess the sort of play that you could go for is, instead of buying another bribe, you could buy another skeleton and have it as a 40k bribe, and if it goes off in the half, it goes off, but you're not giving him a wizard then.
No, I mean, in fairness, I've got bench. I've got a 12th player, so I've already got it. And given how few players and the amount of loner, how many rerolls has he got?
I think 2.
Because they're almost, he's half his team run the risk of you're saving those rerolls for the dancers, aren't you?
2. I thought when he first put the build into the league, I was like, this is a fucking greedy ass build for Woodies.
Yeah. I think I could squeeze the win. Having seen the team, I mean, he's still fast, but all of that loner isn't going to help him. And I'm quite happy to start a drive with 9 players if I foul somebody off the pitch.
Yeah. So, your prediction?
I'm going to go 2-1 to me.
Okay, I'm going 1-0 to the Woodies.
Yeah.
Got a feeling.
It's not outrageous.
Next up, we've got Deaton and the Stonehorn Striders. So, he's got another ogre team. And we all know what happened in the last one. So, we'll look at Big Floor's team first. 6 ogres. He's got block piling on.
Hawks. Sorry to correct you. Hawks team.
Hawks, sorry, yeah. Piling on, break tackle, another break tackle, 3 guard, leader, diving tackle, more diving tackle, fouling, dirty player. He's got cash over, so he can fill his roster up to 16 again. Yeah, this is a pretty... He could even grab a fourth reroll and a Noblar and still have cash left over.
Yeah.
And he's going against the Norse here, so he's given up at least a couple hundred TV. Norse are in 11 players. He's leveled this Yeti. For me, unless this is block, he has to take Mighty Blow. He has to take Mighty Blow on this. Because Claw Mighty, 5 or 6 turns in, he might take out 2 ogres, which could be pretty big, although it's going to be hard for him to find hits, especially with all that guard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for him to find hits. Berserker, nice looking piece here. He's got 2 block tackles. Block tackle frenzy's even better, because you get, if you just double push, you still get that extra attempt as well.
Level up on the wolf as well.
Yeah, level up on the wolf. So that's probably block. So block wolf.
Yeah.
Another guard in here. So there is actually 2 guards.
Mm-hmm.
So there is the potential that the Yeti could get some stuff off. This is a really fucking hard game to predict.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to predict Deaton. I'm going to say 2-0, but I think he hates every turn. I think every turn is horrible.
I'm going 1-0 to the Striders. Yeah. I think it's time. I think there's enough there that AV7 is just gonna bite him this turn.
Yeah.
But I've been wrong about that before.
Yeah, it could be a horrible game. Could be a great game. We'll see. Next up, we've got the Skanks and Soras versus the Tin Town Rats. This, for me, is probably the match of the week, so I'm quite excited for that.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Where are the Skanks? There we go. 1440. Really good looking team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking really strong, this guy. The Croc's nearly leveled.
Yeah, 2 block mighty blows and another mighty blow.
Yeah. Blodge, sidestep, skink. You got a sidestep, diving tackle, skink as well.
Yeah, so you've got a good, the block, the diving tackle, skink, great for trying to pin down those gutter runners. You've got a nice ball carrier there when to pick the ball up if he manages to shake it loose. And they're competing on speed around the park as well, then, aren't they?
Yeah. I think this is and diving tackle into the gutters is pretty good as well.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
I think this is going to be a really dangerous game for this Skaven. Let's have a look at these. I didn't do a lot of damage to it.
Yeah.
I didn't do a lot of damage. I basically had him on this next game, and that was it.
Yeah, because wasn't he not a gutter down against you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Might have been... No, he was this guy down.
Oh, no, that's right. Yes, he was when he was a blizzard down,
yeah, that might be quite an impact player.
Yeah.
Block tackle, mighty blow on those skinks. That could cause some damage. He's got his thrower still going. I tried to kill this guy, I just couldn't really get to him. He protects him quite well. This guy is just a pain in the ass. He's really difficult to deal with, and Grid Buggies him really well.
Yeah.
I'll let you make a prediction first.
It's a fucking really hard one to pick, isn't it?
Mm.
It has the potential to be a really high scoring game as well.
Yeah.
I think 3-2 to the Rats.
Oh, I'm literally going to say the same. I'm going to say 2-1 then to the Lizards. Yeah, I'll go the other way. I can't predict the same as you, otherwise I'll just be wrong. But that was what I was thinking in my head. That was what I was thinking in my head. Right, next up, Sirius United versus the 8 Point Giants. So this will be really interesting. Let's look at Sirius. So 1500 Necro. This is a pretty big daddy team. He's got 2 Blodge Wolves, which is just going to be so hard to deal with. Mighty Blow on the Flesh Golem. Mighty Blow on a White. Tons of bench. He's actually taking ghouls, and he's taken ghouls for like 3 games now, and he's leveled them both.
Imagine.
So that shows you how much he's scoring on them.
I mean, I hate to say I told you so, but I fucking told you so.
Yeah, these ghouls are looking pretty good. So 15 players here. So that's a lot. It's a lot of players.
It's a lot of players. 2 re-rolls as well.
Yeah, I think he saves up for a third. But cool looking team, nice record now.
I'm assuming they'll potentially want to carry that into next season, although it's a fat team again now, isn't it? At 1500, he's not far behind Lee.
I think he'll carry it into next season. So it is 8th, 1500.
I think we might see Morg,
Yes, 670 TV difference. And where is this game being played, actually? It's at Sirius's home ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we see Morg in this game. Chef
Chef and Morg, yeah. I don't know how much that'll leave him left. Not much, I guess.
How much is Morg? 430? 430, so that's 530.
I think.
I think he might have an extra 100k over. And he's got 80k in the bank. So he could do he could maybe do Chef, Morg, and then something else, like maybe like Roxy or Zara or whatever she's called.
I was just saying Zara would be, Morgan Zara might be the way to go. He might not. He might, you could go Deep Root and Zara and a Chef and a Wizard. I mean, there's lots of opportunities there, aren't there?
Yeah, this is going to be pretty spicy game. Again, I'll let you go first.
He just hasn't fucking lost. And even in games where, like this one, even with all those inducements, you put over 400k into Morg, and if he fucking double skulls his first block, and then, loner, and then he's out of the game. But I just don't, I struggle to fucking bet against him. So I'm going to hedge my bets and go 1-1.
I'm actually going to pick... So Iron's one of those players, he will always go for like the 1 or 2% plays. Like that people wouldn't even consider, but he gets them 1 or 2% of the time. So, so it depends, I guess, if he has one of those games. It's weird to say that the safe bet in this is the Flings.
I know.
I'm going to go Necro, right? I think the Flings coach is very, very, very good, and he's trying to bridge that gap for his team. I think Iron's going to make some mistakes. I think Iron will make some mistakes, and it will be sort of compounded a little bit by the fact that he's not got rerolls. But he has so much block on that team. He's just going to be knocking those halflings down all the time. And he might have Morg.
Those ghouls are going to be absolute key players. All joking aside about harassing him at the start of the season around him, but the fact he's managed to level them up to, you got blodging ghouls against Flings.
4 blodge. He's got 4 blodge players.
Yeah.
4 blodge. So I'm going to pick Sirius. I'm going to pick 2-0 because I think he has one of those games where he gets a lot of removals through blocks, so just takes both down. If you peel off some of the Flings, you can then frenzy, claw hit Morg, and he can be as strong as he wants, but if he's on 8, he's gonna die. It's the same as a -2.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I guess the trap you've just got to be careful to fall in, much as any time you play halflings, or to a degree ogres, is not to fall to the whole distraction Carnifex thing and start worrying about the big players, knowing the fact that if you just strip out those Flings, then he's got nobody that's going to pick up or carry the ball. Morg is slightly different. Obviously, if you've got Morg on the team, it's slightly different, and you might even, you're in a position then if you're Clockwork and you do pick Morg, or to a degree Zara or anybody else like that, do you want to win the game or do you want the SPP? Because you could give the ball to Morg every time that there's an opportunity, but he is going to then suck up your SPP, which will be to the detriment of your Flings in the long term. But it's about whether you want the wing or whether you want to try and advance your team as well. And that's the risk when you put on somebody like Morg or one of the big star players. Is you want to try and harvest some of those SPP to develop a couple of players. So it's a tricky one. I think it's. I'm hoping that there'll be an opportunity to watch the game.
I think Iron will probably stream it. To be honest, especially if you ask him to, he probably will stream it.
Yes.
I think
stream it, motherfucker, and let us know when it's on because I think it'll be a really interesting game to watch.
So do I. Question here then, because you're a Flings coach, you're talking about concerns around lack of development if you pick Morg or something like that. What development do you want on a Flings team?
I like to have a couple of Flings that have the opportunity to have either. I mean, ideally, what you're looking for is an edge level up. I know I had one in the last Flings team I played, and it just makes that throw teammate much more of a viable option. But there's no harm in having potential blodging type Fling although they're low strength, you can run the risk of throwing some 2 dice uphill type touchdown saving blocks. Because generally you're going to be fucking 2 dice uphill unless you've been able to base up with a load of stuff anyway. So, but having block just makes that a little bit less of a risk. And having put a lot of faith in strip ball over this season, do you know what a strip ball fling is no better? Fuck me, strip ball blodging fling. Happy days.
What about strip ball wrestle fling?
Strip ball wrestle as well. Throwing a little bit of jump up there, and you're laughing. I think you don't want to level up too much. Yeah, you don't want to have too much. The issue you'll have with your trees is that they just get bogged down. So I'm never over. A bit of guard is quite nice. A bit of grab for trees is really nice. But I do like to have at least a couple of de facto fling star players that have had an opportunity to develop up, and I will preferentially try and use those to score touchdowns to continue that leveling up with them if at all possible.
Nice. Okay, nice. Final game of the week then. You said this was potentially a hard one for Magic, so we've got the Zombies versus the Rotting Deadskins. So let's take a look at the two teams. Let's look at Magic's team first, because he's so good.
He's the best. I wish I was him.
I wish I was him. Right.
Men want to be him. Women want to sleep with him.
Men want to be in him. No. Right. So the first thing I'm looking at. So he's got. He has one Blodge Wolf. The other he's gone for tackle, strip ball, and block, which is nice. Again, if he gets Mighty Blow on that piece, that's going to be insane. But it's pretty good as it is. Even if you just stick piling on that would be pretty good.
Nobody's getting away from that. Nobody's getting away from that wolf, are they? Not with block, tackle, strip, ball. If you see him coming for your ball carrier, you're fucked.
Yeah. 2 Flesh Golems taking block on these. I actually prefer the block on the Flesh Golems over the Mighty Blow. I think they do their job more with block.
I think it's important, particularly with strength, because they're only strength 4. They're not a strength 5 piece. I think block is particularly important because it keeps them stood up for longer, right? So they're less likely to inflict pain, but they're more likely to be an annoyance.
Yeah, and that's what they're there for, really. I've got a mate called Miggy who would always, on a double, he always takes dodge on these guys as well, just to make them even more irritating. He had one. He had a Blodge sidestep Flesh Golem, and it was the most annoying player I've ever come across playing Blood Bowl.
Yeah, because in fairness, the stand firm stuff that can be particularly annoying as well. But I mean, they are just annoying, strong zombies, and to a degree, you need to play them as such. They're not Tomb Guardians, they're not mummies, and it's sometimes it's easy to forget that.
Here's White again, still miles off the next level up. I still think, again, it's hard to say this because Magic doesn't make mistakes, but I still think going jump up here takes away from what this player should be doing. He's probably got a couple of extra blocks out of it, fair play, but I think if he'd taken Piling on this, he would be at that next level already, because it was weeks ago he did this.
Yeah.
And with Piling on, he would be getting way, way, way more Kaz with him. And it might have helped in the game last week as well, if you can pile on some of those Noblar hits that didn't go your way. So I still think that's a mistake. I think in the long run, if you're thinking really, really far down the road, that might be really cool to have a jump up Piling on piece. Yeah, I agree. That would be good. But will it hurt him in playoffs? We'll see. Blodge Guard White, love that, great piece. Ghoul with Sure Hands, and then ton of zombies. He's got 2 bench. I imagine he's doing quite a bit of Fallon as well.
3 rerolls.
Magic is very, very concerned about TV management all the time. I think he's got some kind of mental issue with it. So I expect that if he's 10k above Lee, he will cut one of these guys just to be 10k under.
There's 90k's worth of fan factor in there as well.
Yeah, that's pretty big. That sucks. I hate fan factor bloat. but you have to deal with it, don't you?
Yep.
Right, so Lee. Okay, so the Magic won't be cutting anyone because Lee's above him anyway.
Yeah.
And he's 140 in gold. And wow, this is a nasty team.
That's what I was saying earlier. The sum of the parts of the team, the team and its makeup compared to and combine that with Lee's skills as a coach, it makes no sense for him to be as far down the table as he is.
Yeah, he's got 2 Blodge Whites.
Yeah.
Is he keeping these guys or re-rolling them? Do you know?
I think he might re-roll. Certainly, he was talking about when we did the mid-season re-roll afterwards. He had a shit game. It was like, I wish I'd re-rolled, but I'm not sure he's having the most fun playing them, if I'm honest.
Okay.
He might say otherwise, but just having the conversations outside of Discord with him within our grinder group, he expresses quite a lot of frustrations around playing them. So I think he might. He in fairness, I want to say yesterday he was talking about trying a few games with Skaven because he wants to try something else.
Yeah, and just have that ability to quick score. I mean, it's a nice team. I think Magic takes this one. I think Magic takes it 2-0. I know that seems pretty harsh, but I don't see the Ghouls being able to get, like, positioning wise, Magic doesn't really make a lot of mistakes. No. Like he's probably made 6 over the course of 11 weeks. So I think Lee is almost going to be forced into a potato at some point, which is exactly what Magic wants, and he'll turn him over and he can go back the other way. So I think it's a score a half, but both those scores are done by the Necro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the two teams and thinking, actually, if you look at them, they are fairly evenly matched skill-wise and resilience-wise, but Magic has those wolves, and I think they're so important. It's why a Necro team is as good as it is, because it's got it is, and we've said it before. It's kind of got the best bits of several teams, and the Wolves, the way they've leveled up, the way he uses the Wolves, I just think they're the deciding factor. I'm also going Magic. I'm going 2-0. No, I'm going 2-1. I think Lee has the potential to score, and I will mention his Edgefall Ghoul just because I know it fucking winds him up when we do about what a great thing an Edgefall Ghoul is.
He has got an Edgefall Ghoul, which probably is one of the stronger pieces you can get in the game.
Yeah, and I know, as I say, I know it winds him up when we big up his Edgefall Ghoul. So, woo, Edgefall Ghoul is going to score a touchdown, but I still think he's going to lose 2-1.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I guess that kind of brings us to the end of that. Is there anything you want to say to the people before we go?
Fuck Block, obviously.
Fuck Block.
And I guess we're into turn 11, so it's going to be time for people to start thinking about what they want to do for next season. I know we haven't necessarily had conversations, but my view is I've loved this season. I've loved the length of the league and how it's worked, and I think the decision you've made around how the playoffs are going to work is a really sound one, because it gives people a chance, but it's not kind of top,
it's not a participation trophy, is it? You've got to earn
exactly.
it.
You've got to earn it, but it's also so it goes down reasonably far, but it's not that whole. Well, I just need to end up in the top half. So I've really enjoyed the format this season. Not always enjoyed the team I've played, but and the other thing is I've not had a fucking bad game against somebody who's been a dick, although I haven't played you yet, so we've got that to look forward to.
Yes, that is still to come. I mean, that's a fair point. Obviously, we do our recruiting via referral pretty much, and I think this is why, because whenever I've had leagues and I've opened them up to the general public, that's when it gets filled with arseholes, and that's for me when I kind of stop enjoying running them. And it kind of happened. It happened with Death on the Pitch big time. I was really enjoying that league until we started doing open recruitment, and we met some really nice people through open recruitment, but then we also got stuck with some absolute fucking stinkers as well. So I'm going to be really strict on this. I've got, if we find someone nice in the CCL and they're cool, even if they're getting their ass beat or something like that's a good person to maybe think, oh, they could come into our league. But yeah, if I bump into someone like super try-hard competitive that's like being shitty and stuff constantly,
we've already got one of those.
Yeah,
we don't need another one.
That's what I'm here for. So I've really, really enjoyed the length. So this, in terms of just one season. Ooh, oh my. Just one season being 13 games. So it's probably the longest one I've played. I think prior to that it was like 8. It just means that the fact that we're in week 11 and still 95% of people could still hit playoffs tells me it's the right decision. The teams that came out of the blocks to start with are starting to sort of level off a little bit, which is what you would expect. There are teams that are supposed to be good out of the box, and in like 5 or 6 game leagues they just dominate and no one can compete with them. This is really like the long haul now, and we're starting to see a lot more interesting stuff come through. So it's been really nice, been really fun. I've enjoyed doing these weekly shows as well. Having you as the co-host has been really, really enjoyable. So thank you very much on that.
That's cool. And I know we talked about it last week, but having the length of the season so that people like Mr. Ben, people like Jazz, who a quarter of the way into the season were in a terrible place from a team point of view, and now have come back and look, you got Jazz in 5th, you got Mr. Ben in 9th, both of which competing for playoff spots. I think it's quite nice that we've got that opportunity. The length of the season is enough that you're not writing your season off by game 4 because you've had 2 bad results and you've only got sort of 3 or 4 to try and drag it back. So it definitely does feel like there's more to invest and stick with it with this length of season, and that opportunity halfway point for people to roll out teams where either they've picked something new to try and are just not enjoying it, or have got to that point where, do you know what, I'm just so fucking beaten up that I'd rather start thinking about next season like some dirty try-hard chaos player. I think that counters to a degree some of the bits around a 13-14 game season where you pick a team and you're like, do you know what, the play style of these, either I just don't get it or it's not for me. You know that you've got an opportunity to swap that out. And I think that's something that we definitely need to carry into next season as well.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Like, and one thing I worried, right? So this season will have taken 4.5 months by the time it's done, like when you wrap playoffs up and everything like that. So you push in, not quite, it's a third of a year, isn't it, really? So it's a huge time commitment, and I thought we would have way more people like Joey that have a couple of shit games and then just bounce. Because when you run 4 or 5 game leagues, which is like probably the standard size, right? You'll be in like a 6-team division or a 5-team division. You get 4 chances, and you have those games, right? So let's say Magic had his first loss last week. Like, let's say that was his opening game this season. He loses it straight away. In some of those leagues, you're out of contention already after week 1.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You've dropped a game. That's it. That you cannot make playoffs because there's someone else that's going to win 3 games, and there's nothing you can do about it. I've really, really enjoyed it. The time commitment for me has actually made it more enjoyable over less, and I think I'm very like results focused, which is why I'd say that I'm 2-4-4. I found the losses this season easier to take mentally, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting a little bit older and I'm sort of relaxing a little bit and saying it's just a game. Don't get me wrong, I'm still getting dice frustrated. I think that's always going to be part of my Blood Bowl experience. I'm okay with that. But the losses haven't been the hardest thing to take. Like I've lost some games I should have won, and I've not like gone, fuck this, I don't want to play anymore. I've just been like, I really should have won that, but I've got another 9 games that I can play this season. Yeah. So,
and I think that's the big thing, isn't it? One loss doesn't fuck your season when you're playing a league of this length. Yeah. And the other thing for me is every game I've had, everybody when we've had to, when we're spun, and it's about organising. I don't think there's been much in the way of chasing people. So that's been really good.
Yeah, I've had one game that couldn't get played, and it was like through genuine reasons. I think you've had all of yours played. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to have to go. I'm getting a phone call from my mother, so I'm going to have to. I'm going to have a dip out, but we've managed to get everything covered, so that's great.
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. Have a good week. See you soon.